speaker.
Yes, ladies, I am thrilled to introduce you to Rachell Kitchen, CEO of Level Up for Life, LLC. She is a life and transition coach, speaker, and international best-selling author. She is co-author of Women Living Fearless in Business and a contributor to Sister Connection, A Year of Empowerment. Rachell helps women who are balancing a lot of plates in the air, yet feel like a hot mess, struggling with worry, overwhelm, procrastination, or worse. Counterproductive, my goodness, counterproductive actions that don't allow you to be your best self and live your best life. Rachell teaches women how to control these limiting and destructive thoughts and how to grow, expand, and thrive in business and in life. Ladies, I'd like to present to you Rachell Kitchen.
Thank you, Gay. Thank you, ladies. I'm so happy to be here with you. Amazing courses. I would take all of those courses. You guys are percolating some good stuff. So I want to jump right in. I am going to share my screen. Actually, there we go. And if you guys see me looking off to the side, I had some tech issues earlier, and I told Gay about this. And so my second screen and everything is not where it normally would be. But we're gonna just do this and keep going. So I want to talk to you about the 7 steps you need to grow, expand, and thrive in business and in life. And I have queued my slides. Hopefully you have pen and paper handy, because as we move through, I'm going to go through the content, and we're going to have a few activities, and there's going to be some things and some points that you might want to write down for yourselves as we move through. So, how many of you have heard the saying, ignorance is bliss? How many? Give me a nod or let me know in the chat, right? Okay. You might even said it, like ignorance is bliss. Well, ladies, there was a time when I really embraced this saying as a rule, not as an exception. And I thought it was working for me, and it really was not working. I was moving through my life like those old style pinball machines. My life was creating me, and I was just bouncing from thing to thing, and my life was really creating me. And so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a second, just so that you guys can see my face better. There was a time when I woke up in my 30s, and I looked in the mirror, and I really didn't recognize myself. And I definitely didn't like the person that was staring back at me. I was stuck in a rut. And quite honestly, I was in my granny panties for months. Here's what was happening. I call this my concentrated years of chaos, because within a span of a little over 2 years, my father was murdered. He was beaten in the streets of Chicago, and he died from his injuries. Within that time, and I'm dealing with that and the case from that, my 28-year marriage was falling apart. My mom was diagnosed with cancer. My youngest was leaving the nest, so I was about to be an empty nester. And you sprinkle in a few breast cancer scares of my own, and I just was not thriving. I was actually barely surviving. And I was not getting the results that I wanted in my life, not even close, not by a long shot. And Teresa has been talking about this, and some of you talk about creating courses around this. That inner critic, that gremlin was all in my head, and it was driving the bus. It was running the show. It really was large and in charge. And my confidence had taken a nosedive, and my self-esteem had just gone out the window. I was playing small, and I really wasn't living up to my potential, not by a long shot. And so I really had to learn how to flip the switch on that negative self-talk. And the blessing in all of that was, one, that I learned how to implement these 7 steps, and that would allow me to grow out of that kind of low energy space, and so that I could expand and really start to thrive in my life and not just survive. And that really helped me to get clarity. It helped me to get up out of that chair in my ratty pajamas and get moving. And it helped me to start to get the results that I wanted in my life. And as a relationship with one of my coaches, I was able to find my voice, my gift, and my purpose in life, and the impact that I could have in the world, helping other women deal with that gremlin in their head so that they could grow and they could thrive and they could expand in their business and in their life. So today we are going to talk about those 7 steps. Now, how much time do I have, Gay? We might, because I'm probably not going to get to all of them. I'm going to focus on a handful of them. I think 30 minutes or so. You can just nod, Gay, if that's right. Okay. So this talk.
Rachell?
Yes.
You have,
I was unmuted.
about 40 minutes, don't you?
40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have to like speed talk. So if I'm talking fast, just somebody say, whoa, slow down. So this talk is for you. If you're not getting the results in your somewhere in your life that you want, and you maybe want more money, more time, stronger and deeper relationships, more energy, better health, increased confidence. I talked about that earlier, and that greater fulfillment, or a combination of these things. So who's on board? Let me know in the chat. Who would like any of those things? You could say yes, woohoo, raise your hand. Everybody on board with that? All right, so you all are in the right place. Super, super excited about that. So here's what we're gonna do in this training. This is gonna be interactive. And during this training, you are going to discover, thank you, Debbie. Debbie's like, yes, yes. You're gonna discover how to get some clarity around where you are, and how you can create the life and business that you want, and how you can fast track goals in every area of your life. So these are the things that you really need to grow, expand, and thrive, not just survive. We want to thrive. So here's the 7 steps. So the first step is getting clear. Step 2 is really doing a deeper dive on that clarity. Step 3 is creating a vision. Step 4 is stepping into your power. And step 5 is finding a success model. And all of you ladies here, I love that you get together and you talk and you meet one-on-one. I bet there's a lot of success models in PWN. Then you're going to discover your own success clues. And number 7, learn how to activate the momentum principle. And I've got a great 7-day mini course that goes into detail about all of this. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit later in the presentation how you can get access to that course. But because we are on time constraint, I'm going to hit 3 of these because we don't have time to go into all 7, but you all will get access to that 7-day free mini course that goes in detail, a very deep dive around this, and will hopefully be able to move you forward. So as we talked about at the top, our little ostrich guy, ignorance is not bliss. It is not bliss when it comes to achieving your big goals and dreams. And getting the results that you want in life, and creating that life and business of excitement, abundance, and success. Ignorance is definitely not bliss, because staying in the dark about where you are is going to keep you in the dark and prevent you from getting traction and getting the momentum you need to really achieve those big goals and those dreams and live your best life. So it's important to know your starting point. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. So that step 1 of getting clear. This is the critical first step if you want to get the results that you want in either life or business, is knowing exactly where you are. So I have a question for you, and you guys can let me know in the chat. Is there a place maybe in your business or someplace in your life, or maybe a combination of the two, where you're not getting the results that you want? Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you feel like you don't have momentum, or you've taken a few steps forward only to end up a few steps back. I mean, how many people had to pivot? How many times have we heard that because of COVID and we're starting to open up, but things changed and you might not feel like you are where you want to be in certain areas of your life. You can type yes in the chat and let me know if there's some place where you are feeling stuck, and let me know if that resonates with you. Yeah, see a lot of yeses. Lori, Julianne, yes. So we feel stuck sometimes. That's high achieving women. Sometimes we get stuck. So here's the problem. If you answered yes, that means that you're lacking clarity, and that is blocking you from getting the results that you want. And without clarity, you're going to be full of insecurity and indecision. Teresa talked about some of those limiting beliefs up at the top. If you don't have clarity, those types of things are going to be happening. You might be playing small. A few of you talked about the courses you wanted to create, that how we maybe hold back at networking, or we're not playing full out. When we don't have clarity, we play small in some area of our life. And we also unknowingly sometimes self-sabotage ourselves, maybe by not speaking up or not calling that client, not following up. All those types of things where we can, in our heads, make logical excuses, or I've got to do something else other than those high value actions that are really going to move us forward and get us the things that we want. More than likely, those gremlin voices are on loud and repeat, telling us all the reasons, giving us rational, notice I use the air quotes, rational excuses why we can't take action. And that monologue can sometimes feel overwhelming and distracting to the point of we can't even finish a thought, let alone the things on our to-do list. How true is that, ladies? Right? So, and all of this then results in fewer clients and all the other things that we want in our life and business. So that's where we're going to start, is really getting clear, because when we have clarity, one, you're going to have a sense of direction. You're going to be able to put together a plan because you know where you want to go. You're going to be able to make decisions and problem solve better. That's going to make you more resilient, and you're going to be more adaptive to change. How many of us were thrown off our game when COVID hit and everything shut down? But when we have better clarity on where we want to go, that helps us be resilient in those times, because there will be other COVIDs or the bee, chicken flu, or God knows what that will come up that we cannot control and that we don't expect. And so when we have clarity, we can have resilience. And when we have clarity, that's going to increase our energy, because we're going to be excited about where we're going. We're going to be excited about the journey to get us there. And all of this is going to reduce stress and increase our overall happiness. Is this making sense to you guys? Yes, it's very true. Yes, after COVID. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, right? So let's do this little exercise. This is where your pen and paper are going to come in handy, because there's two parts to clarity. We want to step back and look at that 30,000 foot view. And then once we know that, we want to hone in. Today, we're going to look at that 30,000 foot view. And again, you guys will get access to the course that's going to walk you through the process to take that deeper look at clarity. But for right now, we're going to talk about that 30,000 foot view and what really feels good. So what I normally have people pick 3, but we've got a little bit of time. So I'm guys going to give you a little more time. And you can write these at the top of your paper. And what I want you to do is the numbers in each section on the wheel. So you got career, family, all of these around the wheel. Those categories, take a look at those categories. And then the numbers that you see, 10 to 1 or 1 to 10, with 1 being you're completely dissatisfied in that area of your life, and 10 being you're completely satisfied. And so I'm going to stop talking and let you just kind of write down those areas and then rate the area. Now, what I am going to caution you, don't overthink it. Don't write down the number you think it should be. just write down like what's your first reaction, the first thing that pops into your head, and just write those categories down. And if there's a category on there that you don't see, write it down and then rate it 1 to 10. Again, 1 being completely dissatisfied, 10 being you're knocking it out of the park in that area. So I'm going to zip that and let you guys do that. Okay, you guys got it? You need a little more time. You're good? Okay. Now, as I said before, getting clear has 2 parts. So this is a 30,000 foot view, and you can grab the course and that'll take you to that more deeper hone view. And I'll give you I think Gay might've put the link in the chat, and I'll also give that to you a little bit later. But this is just to give you a sense of where you're starting from, like what areas you might want to focus on. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the area that you rated the lowest. You get to choose, you got some idea. And I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I'm curious if anything surprised you from that. And you can just unmute yourself and share. But was there anything that surprised you as you went through that exercise?
I'd like to say that it wasn't that it necessarily surprised me, but it was kind of reaffirming that the only thing that I could give myself a 10 for was probably the thing that was the most important, and that is my family. So that made me feel really good to think, oh, okay, I scored in that department. And that's
validation. Really, I love that.
And then health, I would have to say pretty high up there too. So good health and family. So yeah, everything else, who cares? No, I'm just kidding.
But thank you, Beth. That's great validation that you are.
Yes, it was really good. It made me really, I have to say, it really made me think.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share something surprised you, or maybe there was a affirming something that came out of that?
I was surprised that even though there were things that I didn't hit a 10 with, it didn't bother me. Like some things I might have hit a 7, but I was thinking, well, it could be better, but it also could be worse. So in my old age, I'm just kind of okay, you know, it's okay.
Acceptance. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
I think what was surprising, I didn't give myself 10s because there's room to grow in them. But the one I did give myself 10 and which was really surprising was the spiritual well-being. And that was super surprising to me. So
how cool is that?
It doesn't surprise me.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's keep moving. Let's do a deeper dive on this. I'll share my screen again. Oh, I want to be here. There we go. So let's do a deeper dive on this. I want you guys to meet one of my clients, Bernice. And Bernice had a successful career in accounting, but she walked away from that career to take care of her family. And she was out of the workforce for, gosh, probably 15 plus years. And over time, her family would be in crisis. She was feeling unfulfilled in her life. She was having problems in her marriage, and she just didn't know what to do. She really felt stuck. And so when we met, she had a lot of decisions that she was facing. But she was going through her days feeling drained and stressed out and just overwhelmed and not really knowing where to start or where to go. And so she spent a lot of time second guessing herself. She was tolerating things that didn't serve her and her kids and her family. And she really needed to get clarity on what was working in her life and what wasn't. And that was a very powerful experience for Bernice. And taking a step back and doing that whole meta view, getting that meta view picture, it helped her go from what felt like chaotic, day-to-day chaotic, and sometimes toxic even, and confusing from the ground. She was able to see the forest for the trees by doing that 30,000 foot zoom out. And so she was able to remove herself and her children from the toxic home environment that they had just become accustomed to. How many of you have heard that frog in the pot story, where you just get used to what's uncomfortable? But when she was able to zoom out and realize, oh, wait a minute, what's happening here isn't serving me. And it's not something, I believe it was Beth that said, oh, I'm happy because I'm a 10 in the areas that are important to me. And Bernice, unfortunately, was not. And so she was able to get her kids out of a toxic situation. She went back into the workforce and started her own business. She now owns her own home and is doing well. And so this is what Bernice said. She said, because of her work with Rachell and I did together, I was able to tap into my own clarity and identify her strengths. And from there, she was able to create strategies to move herself away from what she didn't want to experience and accelerate herself closer to the things that she did want. And that's how powerful clarity can be for you. So let's talk about step 3, because I think this is a big one. And you ladies are going to knock this out of the park because of all those great courses that you are creating. So one of the steps that I want to talk about is creating a vision. So once you know where you are and what's working and what's not working, and remember in that course that you guys are going to get, now you have your 30,000 foot view, you're going to do that deeper dive. Like, think about when you go to a new mall. Where do you go first? If you want to go to one specific store, you go to the big board that says you are here and you plot your course. Well, that's what creating a vision will help you do. Because now you guys know, okay, you are here. And now if we start to talk about creating a vision, you can plot the path on where you want to go. And that's why creating a vision is so important. And sometimes we step over that because high achievers are just ready to roll up their sleeves and get going and get in there and get to work. And we end up getting burned out because we're spinning our wheels and we look up in 6 months, well, geez, I'm not any further toward the thing that I really say I wanted because we're just busy, busy, busy. Again, that's why creating a vision is really important. And so when you're able to create a vision for yourself, that's going to allow you to know where you're headed. It's like, think about if you were in your driveway, you turn your car on and you turn your GPS on, but you don't put a destination in there. The little person isn't going to say, make a legal right turn at the corner, because they don't know where you want to go, right? It's also going to allow you to have a focal point for goal setting, either in life or in business. We have to have a clear vision of where we want to go to be able to goal set and chunk it down into smaller steps to be able to reach that point. We don't want to just be visible and doing things willy-nilly. That won't eventually get us where we want to go. And having a vision makes it easier to get through the roadblocks, because we all know 2020 was something else, full of all types of roadblocks, and there are going to come up. But when we've got a vision, that's going to help us, one, not feel defeated when those roadblocks and those challenges come up, because we know where we're going. And they're going to also inspire you to keep going when things do happen. They're going to give you that inspiration and motivation, right? That are going to move you through the challenges, that are going to move you through when you feel like you took two steps forward and one step back, because you've got a vision and you know where you want to go. That's going to give you motivation and inspiration to keep going. And it's going to allow you to make confident decisions in life and in business. No second guessing yourself. How many times will you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that? And you're back and forth, and then you are procrastinating because you're scared to make a decision because you're not sure if it's going to get you where you want to go. Well, creating a vision is going to help you make more confident, empowered decisions in life and in your business. Because here's what happened. Without a vision, we're going to do a vision activity in a second. You get caught up in shiny object syndrome. I'm going to raise my hand on this one. How many people have done that? Like, oh, I think I want to go here, squirrel. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's a new program here. There's a new, business this. Oh, what was the new thing? Not TikTok. There was a new, I don't know, social media, something where it was just talking. I don't even remember what it's called, but everybody was, what was it? Yes, Clubhouse. And everybody was Clubhouse. It was all Clubhouse. I haven't heard about Clubhouse in about a month. But shiny object, right? And we're also thrown off course when the unexpected happens, when we don't have a vision. Like when COVID happened. If we had a vision and we had a very clear destination, that would help us be able to pivot. But if we didn't have clarity about where we really wanted to go, some people got stalled altogether. Some people gave up. Some people shifted businesses, closed the doors altogether. And then again, that if we don't have a vision, that gets us stalled. And visioning is what I like to call leveled up daydreaming. Because how often do you get in your head, well, I would like to do this, but oh, the cat, the this, the that, but blah, 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 blah. And you list all the reasons and you end up shrinking your vision because you're talking yourself out of your vision. Anybody? I'm raising my hand on that one. Yeah, right? And so we want our vision to be without constraints, no limits. There's no one, including yourself, that can tell you what you envision for yourself can't happen. We're going to, as Teresa talked at the top, we're going to throw those limiting beliefs away, and we're going to vision from a place with no limits. And this may sound simple and kind of like, really? We've heard this before, but this is the most undervalued, underused tool in women's toolbox, is that we don't take a minute to really vision. And that's what's going to get us to the success that we want and deserve. And most people can tell you in great detail all the things that they don't want. But when you ask them what they do want, it's hamina, 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 or it's vague, right? And if we have a vague vision, we're going to get vague results. And so that's why this is so important. So when you can see what it is that you want, you can get what you see. So we're going to take a few minutes and we are going to do a visioning exercise. So out of the areas that you guys scored earlier, I want you to pick one of those areas, and I want you to answer this question. How would this area of your life look with no limits? And I mean no limits. The craziest thing that you can imagine, don't talk yourself out of it. There's no reason why it can't happen, with no limits. And just think about if you were as powerful and as resourceful as you want it to be in this area, what would it look like? And what would this area feel like if you asked for what you wanted and you expected to get it? So again, I'm going to stop talking and give you a little bit to just write that down. Write as much or as little as you want, but come from a point of no limits. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so that I can see your lovely faces. Now, I'm curious, did anyone kind of get stuck and have problems with writing down what this might look like? Anybody? Okay, awesome. So I would love for a few of you to share what was the area and what's that vision with no limits? Do tell.
I will go. I would connect with women who are in major transitions in their lives, women who may be in crisis, and I would help them regain a sense of possibility and joy, and I would help them rebuild a sense of self.
And how would that feel for you, Gay, to do that?
I would feel that I was making a difference and really helping women to get through a crisis. Yeah, I would feel great.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That's amazing vision. Anyone else want to share that vision?
I would.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it was in my career business area, and I was just very blunt to say I want 10 calls or leads per day, and transition those to about 2, paying clients per day.
And Lori, what would that feel like if you just woke up in the morning, you had those 10 calls and it was just coming to you with minimum, like, well, do tell, spill the beans, girl.
Complain that I have so much business that I just, and I need to hire people. Those are the kind of complaints I want. I want to be able to network, to find, professionals who I can, mentor and bring into my business.
And so what would that team look like? You've got so many that I got to hire a team.
I would have a bookkeeper. I would have someone who's a receptionist. I mean, really, I would go all out.
Yeah.
That's the vision. That's my vision.
And I want you to keep asking yourself, and so what next? How many people? Well, then what would they look like? What would they be doing?
The ultimate thing is to be able to work from anywhere in the world and have my team holding it down.
The laptop lifestyle from anywhere in the world. Where would that be anywhere in the world? Where would you be running that team?
You're just pulling it all out of me. Oh,
Yes.
Europe, Africa. You know, I would love to work on projects all over the world. That would be my thing.
Mm.
After I build my team, after I am able to have that luxury to leave for several months in a year.
Oh, in several months. So then that means how many hours are you working a week? If your team is holding it down for you, how many hours are you working in a week in this vision?
Oh no, I don't know.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. No limits.
Right. That's what you said, and I was trying to go there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who else? Thank you, Lori. Anyone else want to share?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Once again, it's funny that the one thing that my 1 week spot involved I'm having lots of fun. I have a lot of personal growth, but I could stand to make a lot more money. And if the finances improved, it would alleviate a lot of, I would have more time freedom, time freedom then would allow me to spend time with my 10, which is my family. And so they are all interconnected in some ways. And that was, kind of a revelation for me, but I could see myself just having freedom because my job, my career, selling Medicare it can be done from a laptop anywhere, And so that would be nice to be able to have that time. My oldest daughter lives in Sweden. I could go visit her.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest daughter lives down in Southern California. I could go visit her. We could go on trips together and do fun stuff. So
where would you go? If I could pull a trap door in your ceiling right now, and all the money could just fall out of there, whatever that number is, where would you?
Well, I'd go to Sweden to visit my daughter and then go see, all the Nordic countries. And, we always had this fantasy to have Christmas in London. I'd probably go to, my favorite vacation spots and travel spots, destinations are either European cities or tropical locales.
Love it.
A lot more of that.
Love it. How much time would you spend in those places?
Oh, a month, like a month in Europe, if you're going to go, maybe like 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So.
Yeah. Anyway. Love it. Thank you, Beth.
I feel like I'm like, hogging the Zoom call.
No. We got time. I got more time than I thought, so we're good. Well, let's have one more person share.
I'll share.
Go ahead, Teresa.
Mine was relationships because they really open doors. They open doors to so many places. Each person's like a little universe within themselves. And when you attach onto them and befriend them, just everything opens up. And it just made me think I need to take more time with that because sometimes I don't take enough time. And that's one of the things that's most important to me. My bestie over here saying, where you been?
Yeah.
And then on the other note, I went on vacation to, I bought a $10 raffle and I went to the Four Seasons in Maui. And I saw a woman around the pool and she was really super tan and she had her laptop and she was working and I happened to talk to somebody that knew her and they said, yeah, she works all over the world. And so that was a dream of mine. So I hired a mentor to set up my book so I could pull 10 reports that I could run my business from and to help me hire a team. So that can be done. It really can be done because I can do that.
Yeah.
So it's not really a far off dream.
Yeah.
To do that. So that's
awesome. Love it. All right, let's keep going. So let's take a deeper look at visioning. And get my screen going here. There we go. I want you guys to meet Sue. Now, Sue is, she's a client of mine, and Sue describes herself as she's in her second act. She actually turns 64 next week. Which reminds me, I got to find out about that card thing you were talking about so I can send her a birthday card. But she turns 64 next week. And her vision, and I love this about her, is to live joy de vivre, if I'm saying that right. To live with full joys, basically, exuberant and this enjoyment in life. Now, Sue is a writer, she's a blogger, and she has a mission of a woman being making strides. That's the name of her blog, actually, Women Making Strides, being a leader in their own life. And she wants to use her writing talents and all of her skills to make an impact in the world. And she's always setting new goals, even at 64. And so when we started working together, Sue was very frustrated because she wasn't achieving two of her main goals. One was to be more fit and become a runner, and to work on her mystery novel. And this actually is Sue and I at the finish line, showing our bling at her first marathon that we did 4 years ago. 4 years ago, coming across this finish line, showing her bling. And she ran that. And I promised her that if she trained and ran that half marathon, that I would run it with her. And that's Sue at the finish line. And what was happening for her at the time, again, she was all in her head with those limiting beliefs. Her inner critic was holding her back, keeping her and telling her that this late in life, you could not be an athlete. You had been working on this mystery novel for all this time, and she had one person who gave her harsh feedback, and that stopped her for over 10 plus years. Anybody ever have that happen? Where you just come to a screeching halt because of what someone else said, what they thought? I get 2 minutes. Okay, awesome. So I got to keep moving. Now I got to speed talk. So let's talk about this last, that's Sue's quote. I'm going to speed talk through this. The momentum principle, ladies, this is the last one. This is important because once you get in motion, that creates more motion, more action. And again, you're going to get the detailed dive of this from the program, but this is where new ideas pop up, where you have inspiration, and where things that seem impossible will feel possible. So again, we're going to move through. So this is how you can grab the course. I believe Gay put that into the chat. So you can, everybody here will get access to this course. It will be lifetime access. It will be something that you can repeat over and over again. Gay just put, thank you, Gay, for putting that in the chat. So you can grab your free e-course by texting GET to that number, or you can download it at that link. Now, some of you might think, whoa, there are some areas that I really need some noodling out, and you might need some support. And if that is you, and you think you need a little more help, I've cleared some spots in my calendar for next week where we can hop on a 30-minute call and have a clarity chat and just help you noodle out and help you get some clarity so that you can then put a plan together and know your exact next steps. Then the last thing that I want to talk about is we've been talking about limiting beliefs and all of those things and having confidence. This is something that is near and dear to me because I've been in other collaborative books, but I have recently worked on my own book project. From where I started to being in my ratty pajamas to now 4 years later, I wanted to be a published author. And yes, I did that as collaboratives. Now I have my own book. And the working title of this book is Take Charge of Your Life, Rewire Your Brain for Confidence, Focus, and Taking Action. It is scheduled for publication in December of 2021. And if you would love, I would love to have some of you ladies along on the journey with me. You can go to my website and get on the book update list and join me on this journey. It's going to be amazing. I'd love to have some of you as beta readers, and there's some other goodies that are going to be coming down the pike, and the pre-sale will be launching later this month. So again,
Thank you, Rachell. That was fabulous. I'm so happy that you came and spoke with us.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful. You guys are awesome.